Dudevorce presenta El Guicador contra El Nerdo Loco y Internacional Fenómeno. ¡Ataca the show!
Ladies and gentlemen, joining me today is a very special co-host. She can be seen kicking ass on Friday Night SmackDown. She is the 2009 Diva of the Year. Give it up for Maria! Show, TV's only source for all the stuff you care about. I'm Kevin Pereira. It's good to be seen.
It is so awesome to be here.
Yeah, thank you for taking out Drunkle Ted, by the way. Now I don't have to worry about his grubby mitts.
I was very angry earlier, but I feel much better.
Good. I would hope so.
Yeah,
you should also feel better because you are the Slammy award-winning Maria Kanellis.
Yeah, big shock.
Look at that.
I am so excited. Very nice trophy, isn't it?
Just need some hot red hair, and it's good to go. Welcome to the show, though. Good to have you.
Thank you so much. We are coming to you live from the G4 studios in Los Angeles.
On the show today, James Cameron will be here in studio. And, yes. So hold on. The James Cameron will be here. This show, apparently he has a little, he's got some, like, indie art house flick that he needs some help pushing or whatever, and I was like, listen, Jim, I got a lot of Twitter followers. You come on, I'll tell him to go and see the thing, and we're gonna be good. Then, after that madness, you will see a man disarmed to death and around the net. It's a fight scene like you've never seen before, and I promise that's a good thing.
And then our Gadget Pron holiday gift guide marches along with more of the best gifts under $500. Hey!
Yay for keeping things frugal!
Yeah, this is awesome.
It's a tough economy out there.
You know, hey,
fiscal responsibility.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll let you talk now.
That's okay. If you want to, you know.
No. The camera clearly wants to see you. Hey, thanks.
Today, we've got a netbook that you can game on. So, game on.
Oh.
Plus, Blair Butler is counting down the best comics of the year in fresh ink. She's breaking exclusive news from Marvel. So, suck it, CNN. You just got scooped.
What? Did you just tell Blitzen to suck it?
It's more of an X.
That is a situation.
Yeah, there you go.
Situation
there
room.
you go.
Okay, I get it.
Time
You gotta put the hits into
it. The top 5 things on the web.
I think I threw something out. Seriously, let's go around the net. Oh. Bring us there, Maria. Take us.
Let's start out today around the net with a clip featuring Michelle Heaton from the recent airing of The British Apprentice.
It's The Irish Apprentice, which is even
sorry.
weird. No. They're both completely drunken and make no sense, and you can't understand them. But in case you're wondering, here's how not to introduce a new car.
In revealing to you the fashionable, sleek new Ford Fiesta.
I'm so glad I didn't do that when I just came in.
No, you had an epic entrance.
Luckily, it seems she landed on her airbags.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Jinx!
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. You with the... No, I think one was enough on that one.
Come on!
Yeah, no, I get it. Oh, you strong, me tiny guy. Very
Today's
funny.
number 4 item comes to you from Jamie Juggers, one of Tiger Woods' alleged mistresses. Allegedly.
Jamie Jungers?
Jungers.
Is that her stage name or her given name?
Mom must have been very happy.
I bet. Well, Mama taught her well. Normally, when civilians are involved in a celebrity scandal, there are really two routes you can either take. Right? And A, you can shield yourself under the veil of personal privacy, or B, you can activate your whore gene and sell out as fast as humanly possible.
And so what did Jamie do?
Oh, sold out big time. Miss Jungers, whore gene, activate!
All I ask is what I do and what's happened between the golf legend and I to be between us and spare me and let me shop. But no one gives a damn. Since I can't go in the public, I decided to do some shopping online and discovered bidhere.com. Seriously, guys, this is fun. You ought to try this at least once. I can tell you, you won't leave your seat till the bidding is ended.
They say this is the most fun I've had in a long time.
This is awesome, man.
I may or may not have taken an Ambien while waiting for Tiger to show up.
This is what happens when I don't get tigered.
I went ahead and just browsed the interwebs. I don't know if you noticed this, behind her on the desk, there's an actual Rolodex back there. And that is an old school mistress who has to go, oh, who am I banging tonight? No, that's not it. No.
Maybe she got it from bidhere.com. Remember, bidhere.com for all your outdated mistress supplies.
and I bet I'm willing to bet much like Staples, she's an easy button. You know what I mean? Just...
I wonder if it's more like a tennis ball.
Like a tennis? What? Because it's
a golf ball, you know. A little
golf ball, yes. One swing. I was going to say hole in one, but it's probably many in one or many in holes. Or
I tried originally and then it didn't. Okay. Anyway, so the team behind YouTube user CDT Crew have done the internet a favor by posting compilations of some of the strangest videos ever created.
Yeah, which is saying a lot on the internet.
Yeah, on the internet. Oops.
Today's number 3 item is a shining example of what happens when awful acting meets even worse special effects. This is a clip from the 1987 low-budget action flick Deadly Prey.
We normally call it a B movie, but after seeing this clip, I think it's more like a L movie.
That's being generous.
Yeah. Just saying.
Bitch.
Impression of one of my ex-boyfriends, I think. From the look on his face.
Wait. Were you banging Commando?
Anyways, from the look.
No, not anyways. That wasn't an answer to the question. Were you dating a guy that made that noise? Like, was that his finale?
Maybe.
Did he release doves and go, oh, I'm finished now?
Yes.
Sandwich time. Oh.
He did, actually.
Really?
Anyways. From the look on his face, he enjoyed that scalping just a little too much.
Yeah, no, I get it. He had an orgasm while slicing a dude's face off. I got it, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hot.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 2 today, it's the return of the Armored Avenger, everybody. That's,
Iron Man?
Iron Man, yeah, it's Iron Man.
The trailer from Iron Man 2 just rocketed back onto Apple's website. And this time, Iron Man's bringing a friend. War Machine. Anybody?
Mr. Stark, please.
Yes, dear.
Can I have your attention?
Absolutely.
Our priority here is to have you turn over the Iron Man weapon to the American people.
Well, you can forget it. We're safe. America is secure. You want my property? You can't have it. But I did you a big favor. I have successfully privatized world peace.
you make a movie.
You mean blow stuff up and let Robert Downey Jr. chew all the scenery he can get in his mouth? Yeah, chew on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy
blow
10
it,
tickets
then
right
chew
now.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. No, seriously, I am. What's
Still
the
ahead, a New Year's greeting that will warm your heart and your
What's that ticket? Is it?
You'll get it next. Stick
What's
around.
the ticket sign? Is it Fat Dingo?
Yeah,
What's the type for the tickets?
Ninja Warrior is finally coming to America. Our nation's toughest athletes will battle in a series of grueling challenges. Only 10 will survive and head to Japan to face the legendary Mount Midoriyama. Who will be the first American Ninja Warrior?
No, I don't see anyone. Andy, are we good? Okay, good, great. I'm putting that on a list of things I'm sorry I asked today. Thanks, Andy. Usually, when we see an ass on Attack of the Show, it's dressed in designer jeans or about to be shot with a dart or set on fire. And that's why today's number one is such a rare, rare gem.
It's a heartwarming holiday message from our animal friends, courtesy of break user Lucina.
Happy New Year!
Hey, he did it! He did it!
Not everyone is as excited for 2010 as the New Year's horse.
That's true. And here now to present a very special point-counterpoint, Hugh Jass, ladies and gentlemen. So let's have a good, clean debate, guys.
Happy New Year!
Actually, I don't think there's much to be happy about. The healthcare bill is all but dead in Washington, and the economic indicators are fraught with multiple dangers.
Happy New Year!
That seems unlikely due to bulging unemployment numbers and the resetting of Option A home loans. Oh, what a disaster.
Happy New Year!
Actually, you might have a Happy New Year if you buy gold. Market volatility makes it the only safe haven.
Happy New Year!
It seems like that donkey show was missing something. Anybody know? To get your daily viral fix, go to the viral videos that we have at g4tv.com/aroundthenet. Now, let's go over to Kevin and Chris for some more Pron.
Chris.
What's up,
Chris Hardwick, everybody.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
How are you, sir?
I'm good.
You were just enthralled with that point-counterpoint?
Yeah.
Hugh Jass nailed it. He always does.
By the way, Happy New Year.
If you haven't bought all your gifts yet, you're a bad person. So you need to give really, really nice presents to make up for it. Otherwise, Santa Claus won't let you into heaven.
What? Hey, everybody. Netbooks are the... Thanks. Netbooks are the easiest...
You're like, hey, yeah, good to see you
They're
too,
bored
dude.
of me now.
Let's go.
Netbooks are the lightest, easiest way to get through airport security during the holidays.
Yes, so you're saying I could keister this?
Yes, you absolutely could. And they're so cheap, if the TSA breaks one, it's easy to replace, even in your keister.
HP wants you to know that good gifts really do come in small packages, like the Mini 311 Netbook. Weighing in at only 3.2 pounds, it packs an 11.6-inch HD LED screen and the NVIDIA Ion graphics card for an unrivaled entertainment experience. You also have the option for an 80-gig solid-state drive, 3 gigs of RAM, and an external Blu-ray drive, all starting at $400.
Slide it into your cake shaft and you...
But I'm just worried about, you know, when popping through the metal detectors.
I think
will the
we're
whole...
back on the...
311 is a great band and a pretty sleek netbook here. It's actually only 1.2 inches thin. It weighs 3.2 pounds. There's no weird protrusions from an extended battery. It's nice and sleek. But does the overall look and the feel actually impress you, Chris?
It absolutely does, Kev. It's not really symmetrical right here. You see a little bit of a rise in the back there, but that's good for when you sit down to type.
Not so good for slipping into a messenger bag.
I like having things that are symmetrical in my bag and fit in evenly.
Right.
But you know what? That's just because I have OCD. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right.
We're good.
And then here on the top, I'm not crazy about this. There's a lot of swirly stuff on here. It looks like the cover of a Lifehouse album, and I don't like that. But I guess apparently you can get other designs.
Yeah. You can express your individuality through a bunch of prefabricated tops.
If you want, yeah, you can absolutely do that.
We've liked HP's netbooks, their keyboards in the past, but the touchpad has always needed work. Did they make any drastic improvements, or is it?
Absolutely not.
Great.
The touchpad is the same glossy feel as the rest of the laptop, so your finger's constantly sliding off the edge. You never know when you're on it or you're off it. Come on, finger, work with me.
How dare you look down with your eyes and see if you're touching it.
The mouse clicks also feel cheap, and they're kind of hard to press down. You don't always strike properly, and then the cursor is constantly flying by stuff. It's hard to be really precise, and I did adjust in the keyboard slower and faster, but it still didn't.
Still too sensitive?
Yeah. We're short on time, so I'm breezing through this as quickly as I possibly can. The keyboard, though, is still pretty good.
Chris, breathe. You're changing color.
It's 92% full. Oxygen. It's easy to type on, just like you would a normal keyboard, so you don't really feel like you're typing on a netbook. That's great. And as for the screen, it's LED and has a higher resolution than most netbooks, and looks great and has a lot of room to work, which is awesome when you're on your computation device. Overall, the interface is okay, but HP really needs to do something about their touchpads.
Right. Well, the thing that really sets this HP apart, I think, from most netbooks, it has the NVIDIA Ion sticker on top. But more importantly than that, it has the chipset inside, which is good. And it's good for smooth video playback or even playing PC games.
Yeah.
Ion there. Does it really work as claimed?
It really does. Back in my day, we called this a difference engine. Now, this is the only netbook we've tested that can fully complete the PC Mark V benchmarks, which is a feat in and of itself. Had a respectable score of about 2,100 points. That means a lot to you if you know what that means. Booting up takes a little longer than we'd like. About 1:40, which is pretty slow. But once you're on, you're flying. I mean, games like Counter-Strike Source and Call of Duty 4, fully playable at 800 by 600, which is huge news. I mean, taking on a plane, you're playing a game, it's awesome. And those are amazing specs to have on a little guy like this.
And we actually have the lowest specs you can get on this netbook. We gave it a gig of RAM, 160 gig hard drive, and it's still super fast.
Yeah.
$400.
Yep.
Is it worth it at that price?
Absolutely worth it, Kevin. Just imagine for a second with your thinking brain how fast this would be if you paid a little extra for the 3 gigs and stopped being such a cheap bastard. You got some RAM and a solid-state drive in there. It'd be awesome. Either way, at this price, we are definitely impressed with the 311's performance. Even though the touchpad's a little bit wonky, it is a buy. I am done. So long. Move on.
Chris Hardwick, everybody. Hey. Now, on January 7th and 8th, we are heading to Vegas. Partially because strippers will do anything for cash after the holidays, let's be honest. But more importantly, to bring you the best of CES. So check out g4tv.com/CES for details. Maria, talk to the good people, would you?
Hello, people. Still ahead, Blair Butler counts down the year's best comics. And break some exclusive news from Marvel in fresh ink. Then, Christmas comes early for
says Heaton. On the next Human Wrecking Balls, it's the Pumphreys versus a film set.
Lights, camera, destruction.
When the lights come up, the set comes down.
It's like I'm bringing down the house.
It's Man versus Man-Made. Human Wrecking Balls Season 2. All new Wednesday at 8. Only on G4.
on you.
Aw, thanks, guys. By the way, Maria doing an awesome job on the show today, right? Right? You won't beat me up now, right? We're cool?
No, we're good now.
Great. I'm gonna do the feed. Let's do that. Today is Thursday, December 17th, and here are your top stories. Iraqi militants have hacked into America's Predator drones using $26 software that is readily available on the internet. The militants are not able to control the drones, thankfully. However, they have intercepted live video feeds, potentially alerting them to American battle plans and surveillance locations. Now, in case you're wondering, each Predator drone costs approximately $4.5 million taxpayer dollars, and the price tag for that software, again, was just under $26. Spider-Man 4 has been shelved indefinitely, sadly. IESB is reporting that production on the next installment in the popular franchise has stalled due to disagreements between director Sam Raimi and Sony Pictures over which villain will appear in the fourth film. That's kind of a big deal, I think. Raimi is pushing for the Vulture to be the main opponent, while the studio wants pretty much any character except the Vulture. Personally, I'd be happy with any villain as long as they promise they won't bring back emo Spider-Man. He's so tortured. And finally, earlier this month, Google unveiled their Chrome operating system. Then this week, photos leaked online revealing the Google phone. Well, the search engine giant isn't slowing down as rumors swirl around the prospect of a Google-branded netbook. TechCrunch.com is reporting that the company is working with at least one hardware manufacturer on the gadget's design. At this point, it's still mostly speculation, but it will be interesting to see how a finely tuned Chrome netbook fares against established computer manufacturers like Dell and Apple. Expect to hear more about this development in the coming weeks. Well, that's it for today, but don't worry, the feed doesn't stop here. Get all the news you need to know anytime at the all-new G4TV.com. I'm Allison Hayslip, and you've just been fed. Now we're going to go about 10 feet that way.
Hey! Hey, everybody, we're 10 feet this way.
Yeah, hey. How you doing? 2009 was a rough year for bankers, real estate agents, and pretty much anybody that likes Lady Gaga, or anybody that doesn't like Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I mean, she was everywhere.
She
It
was
ridiculous.
everywhere.
But it was a great year for comics.
Yeah.
And that's why it's time for Fresh Ink with Blair Butler.
Before we kiss 2009 goodbye, I've got a list of the year's best comics for you. But first, we have exclusive news from Marvel about everyone's favorite web-slinger.
Next year, Spider-Man's current The Gauntlet storyline heats up with the return of another classic Spidey villain. But this time, writer Zeb Wells tells us that the Lizard will be drastically different from the reptile we used to know. In what Wells describes as a rebirth for the character, a shocking and devastating event will cause Dr. Kurt Connors to be completely overtaken by his scaly alter ego. And his new powers include the ability to influence the reptilian sections of human beings' brains, bringing out their baser instincts. See this terrifying new incarnation of the Lizard when he emerges in April of 2010.
Now it's time for a countdown of the top 5 graphic novels of 2009, starting with our number 5 choice, Battlefield's The Night Witches.
This brutal story about the Russian women who served as fighter pilots in World War II manages to illuminate a forgotten chapter of military history and ends with a chilling moment that perfectly encapsulates the cruel ironies of war.
In at number 4, it's a sci-fi sociology experiment, Pax Romana.
This time-travel tale about modern mercenaries sent to 312 AD to change the course of history gave us some of the most fascinating, mind-bending ideas presented in any comic of 2009, and it cemented creator Jonathan Hickman as a defining force in the future of comics.
In at number 3, it's Criminal, the Deluxe Edition.
Only one jumbo collection made my list in 2009, but this crime anthology of violently linked, hard-boiled tales is a staggering achievement and a must-buy for noir fans.
This year saw some amazing superhero comics, from Secret Six to Old Man Logan, but only one Cape and Cowl comic made the best of the year list, and it's number 2, this one.
All-Star Superman Volume 2 isn't just the best superhero comic of the year, it might be one of the best of the decade. If you've ever wondered why Superman still matters, this visually stunning, brilliantly plotted tribute to the Man of Steel will remind you.
And at number 1, it's the hands-down best graphic novel of 2009, Asterios Polyp.
Cartoonist David Mazzucchelli reminds us that comics can be transcendent works of beauty with this meditation on life, love, and the meaning of art. And it's not just the story Mazzucchelli tells, but the way he tells it that makes Asterios a new classic and the best book of 2009.
It's been a hell of a good year for comic book fans, so go to your local comic book shop or comics emporium, whatever, and seek out one of the best graphic novels of 2009.
Well, now there's 5 more things you have to buy. And for more of the year's best comics and info on the ones that didn't quite make the list but deserve some attention, go to allnewg4tv.com/fresh ink. Now, Kevin, didn't you mention something about some guests coming? I don't know who.
Yeah, no. We got a certain someone here in the studio today. You might know him.
Yeah.
Our next guest is widely considered one of today's most inventive filmmakers. His 3D masterpiece, Avatar, received 4 Golden Globe nominations earlier this week, and my mom's going to go see it. She doesn't leave the house. And that is thought by many, really, to be an Oscar frontrunner. Take a look.
Do not look in her eye. César. Damn, César. Ikran is not horse. When Sahelu is made, Ikran will fly with only one hunter in the whole life. To become Aronyu, hunter, you must choose your own Ikran, and he must choose you.
When?
When you are ready.
Joining me now, ladies and gentlemen, James Cameron is here.
I've got some fans here.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you. All right. Normally it's like a, I am interviewing like a midget on a tricycle dressed as a Dalmatian, and so there's 4 people here. The entire 4 square blocks around our studio is here for you today, James. So,
I know, how much do you have to pay them to?
Well, no, they actually paid me.
Paid mourners.
No, I'm finally getting a salary today.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here. Really, it's an honor and a privilege to chat with you because for years I've wanted to ask why Rose just didn't get off the damn board and share it with Leo for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What was the problem?
Yeah.
She was so selfish, and Leo's at the bottom. Now she's throwing jewels into the ocean because she's all alone.
I didn't think of that.
Okay, I'm just saying. You may want to go back if there's a Blu-ray special.
Because, it didn't really work out that well.
No, I
think... and I'm always looking for ways to punch up that movie, make it a little better. Because, we only made it to 1.8 billion.
That was it.
And it's that last couple $100 million that just really drives me nuts.
I did an exit surveyor 12, and most people thought that was the major flaw. I'm sorry, but now you know.
Actually, honestly, most people thought that the major flaw was that she threw the diamond away. They're like, what?
What woman would do that?
We actually were going to shoot an alternate ending where Louis Abernathy, the big guy on the ship, actually hoses her with an Uzi before she can throw it in slow motion.
Exactly.
And show it to Fox and say, I've got this great idea for the end. Hey, check this out.
Right. No one will expect this.
Yeah,
then he's going to take all the other jewelry and cash for Golden. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
We're going to make so much money off the integration. Avatar is a project that has been, 15 years in the making?
Well, I mean, technically, I've been imagining this movie since I was a kid, and I saw my first, Ray Harryhausen films, But 15 years since I wrote it, and 4.5 years of full-time working on it.
And since the Harryhausen days, I mean, stop motion is amazing. Don't get me wrong. Clay models are cool.
Yeah, they're cool, but they're very obsolete looking now.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, when I look at it now, I still feel the magic that I felt as a kid, but we've come so light years beyond that now.
Well, even 15 years ago, you're watching a movie like Lawnmower Man and counting the polygons in his face and going, "Wow, that kind of looks like a pancake with eyes, but that's future. That's going to be awesome."
That's the future.
How has it changed just in the last 4 years since you've really been ramping up production?
Yeah, well, look, the curve has been steadily going up from the time I founded Digital Domain with Stan Winston to actually push the art of CG character creation. We saw it sort of steadily going upward. And I actually sort of got off that. I assumed it would continue to go. I sort of got off that for a few years to do deep ocean expeditions and to work on the 3D camera technology. Let the CG just kind of continue to move forward. Lots of filmmakers doing it, pushing it forward. And then so in 05, I just kind of took a snapshot of where we were, and I thought, all right, we're not there yet. We're not there for what we need to do for Avatar, but we can get there. And the trick is when you can get there within a single production, during that production cycle, then it's time to move. And that's what we did on T2. We knew we could get there to what we needed to do within that one movie, within that year.
And you take a break and you're like, I would love to slap a saddle on a meteor and ride it into the sun. That technology doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You wanted to use 3D cameras with servos in them, and you're like, I should go make those 3D cameras. And you did, right?
Yeah.
What tools didn't exist to create your vision that you had to actually make yourself?
Well, the 3D camera stuff I started in 2000 with Vince Pace, who's got an engineering camera company, and we just started slapping 2 HD cameras side by side. Started with the simplest, dumbest approach, and then we slowly evolved it over time to adding convergence capability, uncoupling all the record capability from the sensor head, really refining the servos that drive the lensing, so that and then we went to the next step, which is to put it into a beam splitter configuration, so we could have complete control of the interocular distance, like the distance between your eyes. Right, and the toe in. So now we have complete control of stereo space in real time in a networked camera system that can have multiple cameras. We're like good to go for production. This was around in 06. So we actually just sort of barely got the system ready to do Avatar, and then shot Avatar.
And our audience at home is playing that answer over and over again in slow motion and setting it to their favorite Color Me Bad specials because they love it in a way that they shouldn't. And I'm sorry, James, but thank you for giving it. I have a lot more to ask.
I can do the rap version if you want.
What? No. This we can get you a beat. We will make that happen, and then we'll let you hit Uncle Ted with a folding chair as well.
Can I?
But we have to do it. Yes, if you want.
I'm into it.
We have to do it after the break, though.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. More with James Cameron to talk about Avatar, the movie, and why my mom is going to go see it. Stick around, everybody. That was great.
Brought to you by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We'd like to talk to you about a fresh start on a new world.
Welcome to Pandora.
You look like a were-smurf. You look like Braveheart with boobs.
I'm gonna kill all y'all blue-skinned cat monkeys!
I'll see that in 3D IMAX.
You're probably going to ask me why we did the CG on the film and all the advances.
Yeah.
Because that's what it would have looked like.
Excuse me. I'll have you know, that took 3 fresh out of high school After Effects artists working round the clock to do over a weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
The Mountain Dew budget alone is impressive for this network. That was our biggest production of all time. So you're totally right about the way it looked. James Cameron, everybody, we're back. China Tag of the show. I want to ask very quickly before we actually talk about what Avatar is. I know we nerd out on the technology, but that's what we love here.
Right.
But when it comes to 3D filmmaking, in your hands, revolutionary. And if the Peter Jacksons and the Steven Spielbergs, who I know visited your set, I don't know if they bought 12 on site. I don't know if they just took out wad of cash.
They drove it off the
made
lot.
it rain.
Yeah.
Put it in the F-150. I'll do something with it later. In their hands, it'll be revolutionary. Do you worry about like the Wayans brothers getting a hold of this technology?
Yeah.
Do you worry about it becoming like? Because right now, 3D IMAX films, that's a tentpole event, something I want to go see, I want to experience. Do you worry about it becoming a gimmick in
I worry
unskilled
about
hands?
you guys with that technology.
We will never. We're as standard def as it gets. We have a Betamax box set that's out in stores now, so you don't have to worry about us. But do you worry about it becoming a gimmick before it has a chance to be as revolutionary as it should be?
Well, if we're talking, you're talking about the CG part of it or the 3D part?
The 3D part. You know,
well,
all these theaters are transitioning.
The 3D part started as a gimmick. It started with, you know, like all the cheesy horror movies in the 50s, and then it sort of came back as, you know, the stewardesses in 3D and stuff like that. It's always been kind of cheesy, and then in the last few years, you know, it's evolved into something actually quite respectable with great projection, great stereo space, but it's been sort of relegated still to animated films, and they've always got stuff like soap bubbles floating around, or
a bag of gumballs. It's flying at the screen.
And I love Monsters vs. Aliens. I thought it was great, but you know, they did the old homage, you know, with the guy with the paddle ball, right? So you know, to me, the trick to this and what you'll see in Avatar is after a while you just forget you're wearing the 3D glasses. We're not constantly reminding you. We're not bouncing crap off your forehead every 10 seconds, you know. And it has you know, people use the word immersive or whatever. The way I like to think of it is kind of somewhere at arm's length in your mental picture of the world. There's a window, and right on the other side of that window is a reality. And after a while, the frame of that window kind of disappears in your consciousness, and you're through that window into that reality, and that's what it's like.
Well, for the record, a friend of mine who did see a screening in 3D, he's into some medicinal stuff. He sent me a review, and it simply said, "Dude," and it was like there was probably like 45 U's in this one text message, which tells me he forgot he was sitting in a theater.
That's awesome. So you know, that beats the New Yorker review and the LA Times review.
And I agree as well. Now, you said when we see Avatar, I still don't know exactly what I'm in for when I go see this in 3D IMAX, because I've seen one trailer that makes it look from the director of Terminator and Terminator 2, and I'm like, hell yeah, and explosions
Titanic.
Everywhere, and Titanic.
There's love in this.
No.
Oh, no.
I hope someone's playing violins on an eagle as it soars.
Exactly.
But I see that and I go, yeah, sign me up. Then I see another trailer that makes it look like Must Love Dogs, which is great because now my girlfriend wants to see it too.
Right.
But I mean, how would you even describe? Well, then there's this trailer, which is how the internet imagined it. Completely different thing.
I think we beat that.
I think. But I mean, how with a film of this epic scale and scope, how do you distill it down to, all right, here's what the movie is?
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that. I mean, honestly, you have people walking out of the theater saying, "I can't describe what I just saw."
Right.
You know, and I was
I get it.
I'm at the after party of the premiere last night, and about 15 people in a row come up and say, "I'm speechless." It's like, how am I going to have any word of mouth when everybody's speechless?
Right.
You know? It's like, find the words, okay? Just, you know, as I say to my 3-year-old, use your words. Okay.
Yeah, that's how you have to treat the Twitter audience. Okay, guys, you have 140 characters. Use 4.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's ellipses, but make a smiley face at the end of it. Let them know you enjoyed it.
Right.
And when you design, like Natiri, pretty damn sexy.
She's hot.
Yeah, to say the least. Did you? I gotta ask. Would you?
Okay, we had an all-male design team, and that was the requirement. She had to be blankable.
Is that what the design jock said?
It was written up overhead. She got to be blankable.
Well, I think we could drop the mission accomplished banner because I totally would, James.
Yeah, except she's 10 feet tall, and what guy would
just
know
you know
what to do?
that's the Photoshop that I made specifically for you. That's
so this is
me
a
with your
wish
creation.
fulfillment.
Right, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I write /fiction in my spare time, and that's some of the animation. Was that really one of the design goals? You said to the team, "Hey, listen, we want to make," because you designed everything in this, from flora to fauna to blankable species.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, I didn't personally design it. I had a great team of world-class design artists, you know, and they were all completely gung-ho to create a planet. You know, I mean, what could be cooler than that? You know, that's why I wanted to make this movie, was the design part of it, which took us 2 years. But you know, as we were exploring, you know, what do these big blue alien people look like? You know, we had gills, we had horns, we had all kinds of weird stuff, and I kept saying, look, it's got a love story in it. You've got to want her.
Yeah. Well, the members of GillenHornFetish.org are all very sad that you didn't do that right now, because they were really hoping for that
We'll
design.
post some of the early designs online for
you. I mean, when a movie's released on like a Blu-ray and you have the behind the scenes, the extra features, you've got enough to probably fill a Criterion collection just of the stuff that didn't make it, right?
A lot of stuff. Because, look, we were going for the best of the best, the distillation of the best ideas. So we looked at a lot of things. We even shot some scenes. We even finished some scenes up to the level before we gave them to Weta Digital to go photoreal on, you know, which took them like a year from the time we'd finish the scene and give it to them. And so there will be some finished scenes at a template level, which some people call previs, but we didn't because it was beyond previs. It was actually my finished cameras, as I operated the camera, just got applied to the Maya files later from the Motion Builder files that we worked in, which is our real-time, you know, we use it as a real-time render engine.
Well, when this thing does come out on Blu-ray and people are watching it in the homes, let's say next year, I'm assuming, you know, 2010, CES is coming up, there's going to be a big push for 3D in the home, 3D TVs.
Yeah, it's happening.
Are you on board for that, or do you think it's still too early for the living room?
It's not too early. I think it's going to be great. I've seen some of the sets. Panasonic's got a good one. There are a number of LGs coming out with one. Sony is on board with this. You know, there's going to be a tremendous amount of 3D content. Everybody's going to be scrambling around for 3D content.
Sure.
We can't make these big blockbuster movies fast enough. So I think as it comes into the home, initially it's going to be sports, and I think it could be gaming as well.
I think
because,
it'll definitely be gaming,
the Avatar game is the first stereoscopic 3D console game. There were some PC games back 10 years ago and so on. Not to throw them under the bus, but you know,
the people that early adopted are still suffering the migraines from them, so it's okay. They're still in a seizure mode, so it's all right.
But the Avatar game is a kick in 3D, and I just can't imagine anybody who's a serious gamer not wanting to you know, get into the world of their game in a much more immersive way. So I think that's going to drive it. I think sports is going to drive it, and then eventually it'll be you know, broadcast and cable network stuff, and you know, scripted and unscripted, and then pretty soon it's going to be just everything.
Then it's just everything's 3D, and there you have it.
And everything, you know, on your big wall screen. But then I think it's quickly going to get adopted down to smaller devices.
The mobile
it works
space,
beautifully on a laptop, because if you think about it, you don't the laptop environment is a single user environment. You orient it to the sweet spot, right? Well, that's what you do for an auto stereoscopic 3D display. You got to orient yourself to it so you don't have to wear the glasses. Well, that's called a laptop. Last time I checked. So, you know, and the other thing is, the smaller the display area, the more having Z-depth to kind of sort and stack stuff behind stuff, windows behind windows, and you know, all that sort of thing, actually will kind of make some sense. So I actually think smaller devices are going to really profit from this as it starts to. It's going to come, you know, blowing in pretty fast here over the next couple of years, 2 or 3 years.
An answer of that breadth and technical know-how, I think, can only be followed up by smashing Drunkle Ted with a chair. If you want to get in there, James.
Yeah. Let's do it.
By all means, no, of course. This is, it's only a shame that we aren't in 3D, so...
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not see Avatar, this will happen to you.
I've never actually hit anybody with a chair, and I've always wanted to. All right?
After you, sir.
Here we go.
James, thank you for joining us. You guys, Avatar opens in theaters tomorrow. James friggin' Cameron, everybody! You keep that. That is yours. That is yours. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more. Well, that happened. Thanks to James Cameron for stopping by, and you have to top that because I have to thank my co-host, Maria. Amazing, amazing. I want to plug a couple things. WWE's Tribute to the Troops airs this Saturday on NBC, and you can watch Maria on Friday Night SmackDown on My Network TV. And you're on the tweets, you're on the Twitter,
I am on
you're
the
tweeting
Twitter.
around. What do you got?
Maria L. Kanellis. So that's
Follow
my Twitter
Maria
name.
L. Kanellis, everybody.
Yes.
Get on there.
And I do respond.
You do? Oh, do you?
Yes,
To each
I
and
do.
every weird
Not
dude that's like,
everyone.
hey.
There's a couple strange ones. Can I have your underwear? But I, usually try and.
I like your skin. I'd like to wear it as a coat. That was me, by the way. You should reply to that. Should reply to that. She has a slammy, everybody.
I do.
Come on.
Would you like to hold my slammy?
Let me touch your slammy. Ah.